So since I'm not allowed to go outside, I thought I'd put in some practical time describing my installation of my stairs in my Victorian house. So when they first built Victorian houses, the attic space at that time was considered unusable space. And so they just sealed it off with a trap door. But actually, by today's standards, those steep pitched roofs create a fairly productive living space up there. The problem is that there's two aspects involved. One is renovating the living space, and the other one is trying to get there. So when you think about stairs, you think, well, how difficult can stairs be, right? I mean, we all use them every day. I mean, how tricky could that be? Well, as it turns out, actually, people's minds only like a certain kind of stairs, which means we want a tread that is 9 or 10 inches wide and a rise of 7 or 8 inches. Now, in an older house like this, it's a smaller number. The downstairs stairs have a 9-inch tread and a 7-inch rise. Anyway, so no problem, right? We just do that. So if we're building a new house, we could just do that. Unfortunately, in this space, and I'll show it closer to you later, we don't, when you have to do math to make it go 9 inches across and 8 inches up or 7 inches up. And we don't have the space to do that. We have the wrong numbers. So you have to create something that is similar to that inside the very specific space that we have without making us feel too freaked out. That's the theory anyway. So this was originally a cheesy little closet up here. This is the way we get to the attic in this house. Is we had this closet which is 3 feet off the floor. So you had to hop up into this closet, and then I'll show you later, but there's another shelf up here. You had to hop up another 3 feet, and then there's a ladder that went up to a trap door in the ceiling that you flipped open, and then you climbed up into the hole in the ceiling. So I knew this was gonna have to be done, but I knew it was gonna be a big job. I didn't realize quite how complicated it was gonna be. So one of the first things we did was take that small hole for the trap door and extend it longer. I'll tell you more about that later. We got a real door to put on this space so that it could be closed and sealed in the winter or the summer, because it's not air conditioned all the time in the summer or heated all the time in the winter. And this door comes from my neighbor. You find that owners of Victorian houses are either keepers or throwers. That means you either keep everything you have or you throw it. And luckily he's a keeper, so he kept this door for me. Now it didn't fit, but again, so everything is custom. Everything is custom. So I had to trim down the width of the door and the height of the door to fit this space. So width isn't too bad. Usually you can trim one or both sides. So here, actually, you'll notice this is a little bit thinner than this side. This is an easier side to do because the hardware is already cut into this side of the door. It's much easier to replace hinge side. So we're going to take a closer look up here. Oh my gosh. Okay, so there's a lot of cuts and stuff like that. So what we would have done, initially there was just a hole in the ceiling, right, with the ladder. So we brought back this hole longer. This beam that was on top would not be a load supporting beam. So by extending it back, and that allows a person to walk up like without bumping their heads on the ceiling. So you can see, so you have to hop up onto this 3-foot thing. And then there's another shelf in here you had to hop up on. And then you had to go up to the ladder and climb up that hole. So a lot of the stair design techniques would not have worked for this space, but everything is custom. The angle of the boards, the way the boards attach, and I'll show you how I achieved that a little bit later. But you can see it had to come down to here, and has to turn 90 degrees to the right inside this space, and then come down into the room and turn right again, right? And this door is still not tall enough. I don't know what I was thinking of, really, and just, it seems like such a good idea. Let's move out of the city. It'll be cheaper. It'll be so much fun. Okay. Anyway. So we put the two beams going up to the surface of the ceiling and then down. These will have the railings, right, for safety here, and then a railing coming down the stairs for sure, because they're a little bit steep. And then we'll come out into the room and have a landing. You can see in marker, right? See, I have to use a ladder to get there now, which comes down here.